What does clean air really do? It's going to take, from an access point perspective, sources of interference, right? Noise that's being heard, and it's going to classify them and say, that's an access point, or that's going to be maybe it's a Bluetooth device that's overlapping with my signal, or maybe it's an Xbox controller, right? It'll be able to relate to that. And for digital devices communicating, one of the things that'll be gathered in that information is the wireless MAC address that it's using. And that's great because then if I have that particular source of interference heard by multiple locations, multiple access points that are out there, then we'll be able to relate to that and even more accurately triangulate where that culprit might be. I said that to say this. What if the source of that noise doesn't include a MAC address? What if that noise that's coming to that access point is coming from an analog video source that is sending out and emitting analog video signal, and it's causing interference? What do you do about that? How do you relate to that? How do you triangulate on that? The answer for Cisco Clean Air is the Pseudo MAC, all right, the PMAC. The Pseudo MAC is essentially going to be, I've got this particular registered source of information, right? We've got the IDR, the report on that. And so in that report, it will associate that source with a pseudo MAC. Now, as we have multiple sources of information, because we have multiple access points that are adjacent, that are hearing that noise, once again, we will be able to triangulate it and describe the same device, because we'll be able to recognize the same signal was heard at the same time, relatively speaking, by the same devices emitting that signal. So we'll be able to register it, assign it that same pseudo MAC, be consistent about how we describe it. All right, so that's going to be very important. That process of being able to gather that information, and then as we talk about that in the mobility services report or in the PI report, even at the wireless LAN controller level, is going to be a process called merging. That's how we relate to this together. And that's important because sometimes we have, for example, an access point reporting its information to a centralized wireless LAN controller. And it says, I think I've got that too. I think I've got that same source of information hitting me. But wait a minute, these devices are all reporting in, and they're all close to each other. They're in the same building. This device is actually a mile away. So even though it may initially try and communicate and say, I'm the same thing, when it boils down to it, it's going to say, wait, you're a mile away, and the type of your signal that you're sending is not actually the same thing. And so it will actually assign it a different pseudo MAC at that point, recognizing, no, you actually are a different source of interference, not going to treat you the same way, not going to associate you the same way. It's all about pinpointing. Remember, where is the device? What type of interference and bandwidth range is it sending it out on, and being able to define that device in your network so that you can then alleviate the problem and recognize consistently what is the source of your interference problems that Clean Air is trying to tell you about.